Hello there. Welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I'm working on an art journal page, so get comfy and let's get crafty. This is the August mood board for the Artsy Trio Facebook group. It is mood board number 23. I know I'm behind. Summer, travel, all the things. Also, I was a little stuck with this mood board. Ultimately, what I decided to do was work with the color palette and the butterfly image, and I wanted to play on my gel plate today. So I pulled out my 8x10 inch gel plate. I have two colors of yellow acrylic paint, two colors of blue acrylic paint, and I have a yellow and a blue acrylic paint with a mica in it for a little bit of shimmer. So we're going to kind of speed through this process just a little bit. I'm adding the light to the top and the dark to the bottom. My camera's going to freak out for a bit, probably more than one time. And I was trying to get them to blend without mixing, and I didn't do a very good job. Eventually, I had a medium color yellow. I do have over on the right a clean-off sheet for my brayer, so I can just roll that extra paint off the brayer. I did add some of the darker yellow back to the bottom, and I over-blended it again. But I am starting to get color variation and some texture from the brayer, so it's okay. Once I get that light blended back down in, and I'm trying to make sure there was something on my gel plate that was kind of creating marks. So I had to eliminate that. I have this stencil. This is just one that's in my, I don't even know where I got it. I think I got it on Amazon. It's just a stencil. And it's not that I wanted the pattern, it's that I wanted a pattern. I needed some more texture in the background. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay a piece of copy paper down and pull a print. And that gives me this kind of textured background still. And then I'm going to add the blue paint over the top of it. I know, crazy. This light blue is almost gone. In fact, I think I threw it away. And I'm going to add the dark blue. And I'm going to try and blend them together without mixing them. Just blend, not mix. Blend, not mix. I did a little bit better job with the blue. And then I'm going to clean off my brayer over there. You can kind of sort of see it. I'm going to go the opposite direction, get a little bit more texture in there, and I'm going to pull another print. I'm just using 24-pound copy paper, and look at that grunge, and you can kind of see that texture from the stencil, and that's what I'm looking for. So now I'm going to take some white acrylic paint. Sorry, allergies are a real thing, even in September. I don't know. Where I live, it's all year round. Anyways, we're putting some white acrylic paint on the gel plate. I'm going to let it dry. Then I'm going to put my art journal page down onto my gel plate. I'm going to put another one of those copy papers down on top of it. And I'm just going to use my brayer. I really want to get a lot of texture on that art journal page. I'm using a lot today. Sorry, I've lost my mind and my words. So there is a beautiful texture. You can't see the stencil design, but I do feel like it needs a little bit of blue, a little more blue. So I eliminated the edges, and this time I went in with that mica acrylic paint. So the yellow one is called Golden Sunrise, and the blue one I can't even remember. I should have wrote it down. I just grabbed some yellows and blues because one of the colors in the color palette were a yellow and an orange and a light blue and a dark blue one. So that's where I went. But these mica paints are so pretty. And I'm just going horizontal and vertical to kind of add texture, to figure out what's going on with my brayer. Why is it dragging and leaving marks? But I like the texture I'm getting here, and I like the shine from the mica. It is so pretty. You can see it collecting around the edges of my gel plate there. It's kind of funny. So I'm going to put a piece of copy paper down, do a quick pull. Oh, gorgeous. And then I'm going to put my art journal page down again. And I'm just going to rub that with my fingers and pick it up. And it has got enough shine, just enough that you don't hate it, but not enough that, I wanted more. So I put the light yellow paint and the shimmer paint down in the middle of my gel plate and just put my art journal page back down on top of that. I put a piece of copy paper over the top of it, and I'm going to use my brayer this time. I want to see how much of that yellow and shimmery gold color I can pick up using my brayer and my hands. So once we get that peeled up, my camera does not like this. And that is what I like. It could use more blue, but I can add that later. What I'm loving is that the layers of texture and paint, the transition between the yellows and the golds and that little blue in the undertone. So now it's time to clean up my gel plate. And most of the time, I don't know if I leave this in or not. I put some more white paint down, let it dry for a second or two, and put this is a clean sheet of paper, and pulled that print, and it's very pale. And then I just started grabbing the other papers that I had used as clean-off sheets and as cover plates, all the things. I just reused all those papers because the gel printing is all about layers of acrylic paint texture. So when I got to this point, I kind of put the stencil back on there and brayered it to try and get some of the paint off the stencil. And then I just stuck that in my sink with some water. So here we're going to do a quick look through at these are the trash. These are not the things I was looking for, but you can see that shimmer in it. You can see the blue and the yellow. I will definitely, maybe not the last one, but I will definitely use the first three sometime. So to put the blue back in my art journal page, I'm going to start with some stamping. I have this Stampers Anonymous stamp set that I use regularly to add texture. I'm using the text stamp. I am not inking up the stamp in its entirety. I'm not using a stamp block. I'm just using my fingers. I did realize I was getting the same few lines over and over again. So when I moved to the other edge of the page, I flipped the stamp over. So it's upside down. It is not meant to be read anyway, but now you really can't read it. I also have this splat stamp. I'm going to ink that up I inked it up once, stamped it 3 times. Totally was loving that. I also have this, it looks like it's a finer mist spray, like ink splats or, paint splats. And here is my butterfly focal image. And I want that to be kind of right there in the top third of that page, but I still need more blue. So I've taken a paint sponge and cut it into a little wedge, and I've got that blue mica paint and put a little drop on my work surface, and I'm adding it to my art journal page with the sponge. And that's because it's adding texture. The sponge has texture, and that is, I don't know what the right word is, reproducing or replicating on the art journal page. And so I'm kind of loving that. I went the bottom right, then I went the top left, and I just kind of went everywhere. And then I picked up that Cobalt Archival ink and a foam blending sponge, and I'm going to add a little bit of the darker blue around the edge. And at first I was doing just the edge, but then I decided to lay the page down on my work surface and blend in just a bit. Bring that cobalt blue in just a little bit farther. And I'm digging that. I kind of like how that's working. So it's dry. Everything's dried off. I'm going to put my butterfly down here. So this butterfly is from an ephemera pack I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and there's 2. So I have this plan to put a piece of foam tape in between them on the body and kind of double it up so that it has a little bit more dimension. And I kind of like it. I want to add something else to this, so I've pulled out a blue washi tape. This is kind of a thicker washi tape. It's about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to tear a piece off. I'm going to tear it in half. And I'm going to have it coming out of the butterfly at an angle. Now, honestly, this did not exactly turn out how I planned it, but whatever. So I have the rough edges turned out. So you see the rough edge on the top and the rough edge on the bottom. Then I grabbed a rose gold washi tape and put it down the middle. I didn't go all the way to the end. Don't worry, I'll fix that because it's weird. So in my mind, when I was putting down the washi tape, it was looking like a trail, like how on those stamped images there's a butterfly trail, like a flight path, or I don't know. It didn't exactly look how I had it planned in my head, but I didn't hate it, so I left it. So I'm going to add the butterfly right here on top of that washi tape trail with a little bit of Tombow mono glue. I'm going to put it down there. I'm going to hold it with some pressure with my fingers for a couple of seconds, And once it, grabs, it grabs. So I'm good on that front. I did have a quote. This quote reads, "August is the border between summer and autumn." Now, I know that August is still summer, like especially in the United States this year, we're like on fire. Where I live, because technically I'm in the South, September's not necessarily autumn either. We sometimes wear short sleeves on Halloween, but I do like the idea that summer is that August is kind of that last few minutes of summertime before it's time to get down to the work of being fall. This quote was attributed to Tove Jansson. I don't know who really said it, but when I saw it, that's who had quoted it. So I have a blank page on the back. I don't like it. It's kind of a little bit of paint, a little bit messy. So I found a piece of pattern paper in my stash. It's a pink kind of floral pattern. It goes with the color palette of this mood board. So I've grabbed that pattern paper. It's got some flowers on it. They're all pink on pink. And I'm going to put that on the back of my art journal page because it's messy and I don't want it to be messy. And the very first Artsy Trio mood board page that I made, I used pattern paper on the back. And so I've done it for almost every other one of them. I don't know. It's just a thing. I did grab that foam blending sponge and go around it again because you could see some of the white edges where I didn't trim it quite close enough. So I'm just going to camouflage that white edge or the white backing of that pattern paper with my ink blending sponge. And it looks great. I do need to punch holes in that back page. So I'm going to stick that in my hole punch and voila, it didn't line up perfectly, but who's counting, right? I'm going to add the printout of my mood board. This mood board was created by Big Grob. I don't think I said that before. In Sweden. Anyway, I'm going to sign it, and that's my art journal page. I do like the texture I got from the gel printing, and it's a little bit better of a picture or a little more obvious in that picture. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I have a couple of other videos I think you might like, so click one. Also, click that subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. And if you haven't subscribed, do it. You won't regret it, I promise. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Have a great day.